Now the fun begins. Okay, so I was a kid in the 70s when it was socially acceptable to get divorced for the first time, and basically that just meant that, like, if you were a woman, you could go to church. There wasn't much more gained other than that. And then that fell apart. So this is a divorced kid Christmas. My father moved into the first floor apartment of an old Victorian house at the edge of the famed river. I enjoyed the court-ordered every other weekend arrangement of their divorce. This apartment was so unlike my mother's home during the other 27 days of the month. The creaky floors provided a soothing comfort. However, the whitewashed plaster walls, crumbling in slow motion, barely held the ancient sinks in place. My brother and I slept on 2 inflatable beach rafts in my father's cramped bedroom, just off the kitchen. Late-night odors would wake me when his roommate returned from a night out in the town, hastily heating frozen pierogi with a hint of burnt buttered toast. My father and his roommate Billy were in strict observance of a commitment to watch the televised games of the National Football League. Miller Brewing of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, spent excessively to promote their light beer product during those broadcasts. While staring in awe at the inside cover art of Billy's copy of the Jay Giles Band's Full House live album, I overheard my father's voice following a particular Miller Lite commercial. "We can win that contest. I had an idea that is foolproof." I was surprised to hear he had an idea he thought was foolproof. The Milwaukee brewer had created a contest. The best holiday display integrating their product would win a year of free beer. The contestants had to submit their photographic proof by the 29th of November. The 2 of them decided to appropriate a shopping cart on uneven wheels from the local grocery store to house their harvest, a commitment to the possibility of an entire calendar year of free beer. For the majority of an NFL season, light beer cans were meticulously rinsed out and placed in the grocery cart outside the back door, besides the rust-ridden aluminum garbage cans. The weekend after Thanksgiving, we were scheduled to stay with my father. He and Billy started decorating a small tree they had cut down on the property of a co-worker who owned land in the quiet corner of Connecticut, with beer cans from a shopping cart to compete in a corporate contest. I watched the 2 of them meticulously bend beer tabs into the proper position to hang them with the same traditional ornamental hooks my mother took care to recycle after every Christmas. I could not remember a season when my parents were married where my father actualized such an attention to detail of our holiday decorations. He was fully convinced of the chance to win the contest. At one point he asked Charlie to adjust the string of lights to better reflect off of the aluminum cans. We spent Christmas Eve with a few co-worker friends of my mother in Norwich, Connecticut. They were young kids working at the nursing home with my mom. They extended an invitation of inclusion. Their small apartment was fashioned to feel celebratory, but I simply wanted to be alone with headphones and a stack of 8-track tapes. They gifted my brother and me a dartboard set, which my mother immediately confiscated. During our way home from that event, my mother decided to take an odd way to our house, circling back to the city of Groton to scout what might be happening at my father's apartment on Christmas Eve. She was correct, which she consistently reminded us of. He was throwing a party with his roommate at the apartment. As we traversed the icy sidewalk from the car to the front door, I was running through the scenarios I would inevitably have to be in the middle of when my father came face to face with my mother in the next moment. "You're hosting a party tonight?" she hissed through closed teeth. "Yeah, why wouldn't I? Because it's Christmas Eve, and you should have thought of your kids first, but you had to think of yourself first, again." I could sense the tension throughout the room, the dissipation of energy, as the host was being confronted by the mother of his children with his kids present. "Nice effing tree," were my mother's last words to him as she escorted us across the broken threshold of the back door, which I always reminded myself not to trip over on weekends with my father. Thank you.